Welcome back, Defenders. I'm Brian with Xact Cybersecurity, and today we're diving into the explosive ransomware attack that has sent shockwaves through Sensata Technologies, a massive player in the global industrial tech landscape. This isn't just another cyber attack story. This is a wake-up call that could impact supply chains around the globe. Let's unpack exactly what went down in today's video. But before I get into it, remember to like and subscribe to the video and to the channel. Appreciate the support. So let's talk about it. Imagine waking up to find that your entire operation is ground to a halt. Manufacturing, shipping, receiving, everything is frozen. That's exactly what happened to Sensata Technologies on April 6th. In a recent SEC filing, the company revealed hackers just didn't encrypt data. They stole sensitive files from deep within Sensata's network, causing major disruptions globally. Sensata isn't small potatoes, folks. We're talking over $4 billion in revenue in 2023 alone. And they're key players serving critical sectors like automotive, aerospace, industrial manufacturing. Cybersecurity analysts are sounding the alarm. When attackers hit a company of this size, the repercussions are felt far and wide. Production delays, supply shortages. It's a domino effect that every business should be paying attention to. Did you know a recent IBM report shows that an average cost of a ransomware attack is now exceeding $5 million per incident? And that's not pocket change. It's a massive financial and operational hit for any organization. And we're not exactly in the greatest of financial times right now for companies to be absorbing these kinds of hits. There's good news. Sensata Technologies didn't waste a minute responding to the attack. Thankfully, they swiftly triggered their emergency response cybersecurity protocols, isolated their network, and brought in specialized cybersecurity experts to root out the malware. Authorities are also in the loop, and legal teams are helping steer the recovery process. Notably, Sensata took a strong stand here. They refused to pay the ransom, and that's exactly the stance recommended by the FBI, because giving in to these demands doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee you'll get your data back, and it doesn't guarantee that they won't share that data with somebody else, even though they're promising not to, in their double extortion schemes. What paying the ransom does is it emboldens attackers and it helps them grow and improve their own operations, making it much harder for guys like me, cyber defenders, and businesses to protect themselves from these types of events. FBI Director Christopher Wray stated at one point, paying the ransom doesn't guarantee an organization will ever get its data back, and it also emboldens criminals to target other organizations. Sensata is doing the right thing here, holding firm, and we commend them for it. Here's what's going on. Here's where things get dicey, though. Hackers use the tactic known as what I mentioned, double extortion. They're not only encrypting Sensata's data, but they've also stolen those files. And now the big question is, what was taken and what could it potentially be worth if it is released to the public? Could it be customer data, just shipping information, or sensitive internal communications and information about people that work there? Or is it proprietary manufacturing details? The investigations are ongoing, but you can be sure that's what these cyber experts are trying to figure out for the company. And Sensata has committed to informing affected parties as soon as more details are available. So as soon as they figure out what data that these guys could potentially have their hands on, then that allows them to start making decisions around, should we consider paying for this double extortion or this data that could potentially be released? Because as I mentioned on other videos on this channel recently, that companies are being misguided here. And a lot of times when they're trying to make a bold stand or not pay the ransom out of pride or ego or what have you, or they just don't want to do it because that's what's recommended by Christopher Wray and the FBI. All those reasons are good reasons. People cannot pay the ransom for whatever reason they want, or they can pay the ransom for whatever reason they want. That's the beauty of freedom, right? But at the end of the day, we know the repercussions of it. And now this company has to grapple with what data do they have and is it worth it for us to consider paying? Based on what I'm seeing, they don't really want to pay. So they're really going to evaluate this data and decide whether it's worth the risk of it being released to the public. And when that happens, companies run the risk of getting sued by lawyers, and other things like class action lawsuits come into play when you don't pay these ransoms. And you could still pay the ransom and the information could still get out there. So paying the ransom doesn't guarantee that class action lawsuits won't be coming your way. So alarmingly, Coveware, double extortion tactics, according to Coveware, double extortion tactics increased by over 200% last year. It's no surprise if you watch my videos on this channel. I've been covering that for a long time now. It's clear cybercriminals see this as an effective way to squeeze businesses even harder, and they're not wrong. It surely does work, especially when businesses know they could potentially be facing tens or hundreds of $millions in class action lawsuit costs, as well as regulatory fines and penalties if you are under any compliance regulations. So it's clear cybercriminals are winning the war, and this attack on Sensata is a critical reminder that no company is too big or too secure to become a victim. Vigilance, preparation, and resilience are your best defenses against these cyber threats. If you haven't reviewed your cybersecurity posture lately, now's the time. There's plenty of links in the description below to help you with that, like getting a cybersecurity risk assessment done for your business. So stay alert, stay informed, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for ongoing cybersecurity insights. I'm Brian Horning with Xact Cybersecurity, and we'll see you next time.